Okay, I'm Dante, and I don't know where this video is gonna go. So let's start it off with the story because that's the motto of this channel. Um, where should we start? There was this 16-year-old girl, and she had a boyfriend, um, handsome guy, very confident in himself, and she was quite the strong girl herself. They got together and they were kids and they were doing stupid things that kids do, but they were doing adult things. So the girl got pregnant and they had decided that they wanted to keep it. And so she told her family members, and some family members were unhappy about it, and some family members were happy about it. And the girl's mother, well, she had mixed feelings, but in the end, in her own way, she supported her. The girl's mother supported her in her own way. When the girl and the boy, or when they had the baby, ended up being a boy, and the young girl, she was now 17. She had decided that she was going to take care of the child in her own way. So she and then her boyfriend joined the military, and the girl left her son with her mother. Her mother's name was Dorothy, but Dot for short. And the little boy, none the wiser, grew up for a few years in the house of his grandmother. And he was a terror. I mean, I'm sure he was good in some ways, but he would start fires. he would drop matches in places that shouldn't have matches. He would take things. He would test Dot in many ways, and but she loved him for it. He was her first grandchild, so she absolutely adored him. And when it was time for the mother to take care of him again, well, the boy was beside himself. I mean, maybe not outwardly, but in his head, he didn't know exactly who the woman who was going to take possession of him was. All he had known was Dot. And to him, Dot taught him everything up until that point. Things that, like, well, he was just too young to know, but he learned them from her. And so when that time came, like, it was difficult for the boy. But the boy, of course, was told that this woman that stood in front of him, a 2-year-old in tow, was his mother. And that little boy that was with her was his brother. And he was to live with them. And it wasn't like he had a choice, but okay. But the Dot, she ended up living with them at some point, because the mother and the boy's stepfather and their growing family, well, like, they were so busy, and the help was much appreciated. And the grandmother, she loved adventure. She loved just doing things her own way. She was happy to be a part of the family. And so the boy once again had Dot with him to teach him things and to spoil him in many ways. Over that time, she was always kind of around, whether it be like living in the house or living in the same city as them, even whilst They moved around quite a bit because of the military. She was never too far away from the boy. The boy's first job actually was with Dot, his grandmother, and so the the boy owed a lot to her, and she was again always proud of him because he was her first. Dot um, Dot was not perfect. Anyone around you could tell you that she played by the sheet of her own music. She did things her way, always. And while some people thought that was um, reckless, dangerous, unhealthy, the boy looked at her as if that's what adults did. Adults did exactly what they wanted to do. They played by their own rules. They were old enough to make their own destiny. And what better way to live than on your own terms, right? Like, the boy didn't realize it, but she had somehow become kind of a hero to him. And in his older years, as he became an adult, he saw the irresponsible things she did, and he didn't like the irresponsible things he did, but he understood that in her own way, she was living her best life. The only way that she could live life was the way she wanted to live it, and the boy continued to live on the lessons that she had taught. He lived on his own terms. Obviously, I'm the boy. Um, I haven't. I. I'm saying words to a screen because I will not be able to say words to the person, and I won't be able to say words in front of people because I am in Japan. The person who has taught me so very many things, the person who was the first person that I remembered loving, the person that told me that I could make my own rules. That person's dead. And I am lost. Like I know death. Death. Me and death are old friends. I've watched many people die. And it sounds cold, but the reality of death never really bothered me. My even I've thought about my own death quite a bit, and I've had no problem with that thought. Like, I think it's if you're going to go to war, then you must be ready to die. So the idea of me dying never bothered me. I never fathomed, however, I never fathomed Gigi, Dot, my grandmother, dying. It seemed improbable to me that someone who lived beyond the odds by her own rules, it made sense to me that she would break the rules and live forever. Because as logical as I am as a person, it was logical to me that she would just live. I don't know I didn't know how much it would pain me. And the only reason why I'm keeping it together is because there's a camera in front of me, and I do so want to not lose it on camera. But I also want to explain the first story that mattered. The story of Dot is the reason why I am here. Not in the most biological way, of course. Biologically, she's here, so I'm here. But I mean, playing by your own rules, doing things your way. She would just do what made her feel good. And that was dangerous, but like that stuck with me. Am I happy? I told you guys this in previous videos, that the thing I ask myself before I make a decision every day is, are you happy? Does this make you happy? And I got that from her because everything she did was about her being happy with herself and her being happy with her life. And unfortunately, I have not recently been able to talk to her to tell her that I am indeed okay. And occasionally she would see something I would post on Facebook, and she'd say she's proud of me, and that, like, you know, she likes whatever I'm doing, or she likes the pictures or something like that. But I always wanted to bring her here. I wanted her to see, like, the story that she helped to write. She wrote the first chapters of the story that led me here. And I wanted her to see that. Like, I wanted her to live to see the next chapter. I wanted her to see, like, when I had kids, I wanted those kids to be able to get candy bars when they weren't supposed to eat candy. I wanted them to watch. I wanted them to watch trash TV when they were supposed to be asleep. I wanted them to be able to go on road trips. I wanted them to hear a nice old lady cursing at the top of her lungs at crappy drivers. There's so many stories. There's so many memories that I have, like, of her and us together as a team. I cannot remember. And I know that I was with my mom for 8 months prior to living with my grandmother. But the first memory that I have my first conscious memory is my grandmother holding me. And so, to now be writing a story of my life, and to know that she will not be directly in that story Well, there are two kinds of pains. And this is a quote from a movie, but I remember it because it's true. There are two kinds of pains. There's a pain that hurts, and then there is a pain that alters. And this is a pain that definitely feels like it is altering me because I don't know what comes next. This channel is Dante Dakara. And I have said that because everything that I tell you guys that I say on these videos is based on the things that I experience, the things that I see, the lessons from life around me, the pictures of life around me, and everything that has led up to this moment. But if we're being honest, like, I'm making these videos because it's me, but I'm here because of her. So if you've subscribed to this channel, if you've liked these videos, if you've watched even one, even if you're watching this one video, it's not Dante Dakara. It's Dorothy Dakara. There are stories everywhere. And she was the most important part of mine.